What's up, y'all? LTJ Reeves is here. This is Throwing Light. And if you're not throwing light, you're not acting right. Tonight, this is episode 107, and I've got Girl Complex coming from San Diego. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Happy Sunday, y'all.
Happy Sunday. Where are you at right now?
I'm currently in San Diego hanging out at the new Miss San Diego Leather 2025's house, Princess Erica, because I'm a co-producer of that contest. So I'm coming to hang out with her just for today,
We'll
Producer, support, and contestants. That's how we do.
get into that. That would be great. So,
Yes.
let's go ahead and get into this. So, Girl Complex, I've known you since. I mean, you were the person cheering number one when I was on stage last in 2024, right? You
Yes, I
were,
was.
you were calling me number one. So
I
then
called you number one.
you called me number one. So I appreciate that. You made me feel special. You made me feel like I belonged with your
You
support.
did.
That was great.
Yes.
That was hard. That was hard.
Yeah, I know it's hard, but you know what? You did it, right? You went in, you
Yes.
did it. You put your application in. I tell people that's the hardest part, right? And you showed up. That's
No.
the second hardest part. You got on stage. Guess what? You're a winner in my eyes, right? That's hard.
Look where I'm sitting today. I'm here interviewing you now. You know,
Yep.
never know what's going to happen when you step on that stage. I tell everybody, I say, yeah, because I didn't make top 20, but I said, when you leave that stage and when that contest ends, you got momentum, and it's how you use that momentum. A lot of people are like, you know what, I'm done, and I get that. A lot of
Yep.
it keep going, but since I stepped on that stage, it's just been transformative. The conversations we've had. I had the honor of sitting on the panel at IML for people of color and sharing a unique experience on racism and stuff that I don't think a lot of people get to hear. So it's
No.
work. I encourage everybody that's watching this, definitely ones that just competed, like just keep doing the work, and
Yes.
you will elevate. You will elevate. So let's
You
go ahead
will.
and do it. How did you get involved in general and just getting involved in this community? What was your starting point?
So let me tell you. So I grew. Yep. Starting point. Well, my starting point was there used to be an adult bookstore in San Diego called F Street. And I walked into this adult bookstore as you can get in when you're 18 years old. And I see a Tom and Finland photo. And I see these dudes kneeling with these dudes with these huge bulging cocks, right? It's Tom and Finland, right? We all know what the Tom and Finland photos look like. And I wanted to get into this, right? I was like, oh, this is definitely for me. However, 2 points. I'm not a man and I don't like men, right? So I was like, this is not for me, but I want to find this and I want to find it for girls, right? Because I want this, but not for because, I'm a dyke, right? What am I doing with a man? So I said, let me find this. And I was like, okay, I'm looking for this. I couldn't find it forever. And then all of a sudden I end up in Norfolk, Virginia. And then I go to my very first leather bar called the Garage, RIP Garage, it's no longer there. And I walk into this leather bar for the very first time and I find this club called the Nighthawks of Virginia. The Nighthawks of Virginia at the time had all males in the club. I meet a member and I ask if I can join or whatever. And I'm a little anxious about it. So I started out as an associate, right? But they accept me as an associate of the Nighthawks of Virginia. So then they're like, how come you don't go full pledge? I was like, whatever. Him and Han. I have no real reasons why I didn't do it. And then I finally full patch into the Nighthawks of Virginia. I fully patched into the Nighthawks of Virginia. And at the time, I don't think anything about it because I don't think anything about it. But looking back on history, I forget what the history is with the Nighthawks. I think I may be either the second woman to join the Nighthawks. Some say the first. I am definitely the first Black femme to join the Nighthawks of Virginia. Period. Right? Whatever the numbers are. And so when I was a full patch member of the Nighthawks of Virginia, that made me a part of the AMCC. That's the American Motorcycle Council of Club Coordinating Council, and that's the whole clubs like in the Mid Atlantic area, like Senators, MAL, whatever, all those groups that host clubs in the Atlantic, Mid Atlantic. That's their council. And at the time when I got a Nighthawks patch, that made me one of 3 members patched into a men's club. 26 clubs and only 3 women patched into those clubs at the time. The other woman at the time was Jackie Thompson. Jackie Thompson is American Leather Woman, I think 2020. I don't know. Sorry, Jackie. But that also, and there's a one woman, I can't remember her name. She's out of Louisiana. So I know the 3 women who were patched a part of AMCC back at the time. So that's a huge deal. I leave Virginia and I decide I still want to find leather. and I go to the Bay Area, San Francisco, Oakland in particular, I find this little club called Alameda County Leather Corps, and I joined them. But I still couldn't find what I was looking for to be a Black representation in leather. I didn't know that Black women did leather. I'm not one of those Black people who think, oh, we don't do this. But I figure if I'm there, I don't think I'm the only, right? I'm not a unicorn Black person. If I'm there, there's other Black people somewhere, and I just haven't found them, right? And so I was like, I didn't think I was the only one. And then I find out about International Miss Leather. And I decided to compete for that contest. And I found out about Jill Carter. Jill Carter's International Miss Leather 1999. She is the first Black International Miss Leather. So there are Black women who are doing it. Thank God I was one of those people that, oh, I'm the only Black person. I just know about this. And then I finished my top year and I make a club called Club. The Unruly Social Club is the premier leather BDSM organization for all non-identified folks of color. And that's what happened. So yeah, that's it.
Let me tell you straight up what I get from you is strength, just in how you talk, and like I'm just like, fuck. Of course, you were the first woman in that spaces. Like you weren't, you're not someone to play with. I can tell. So let me put like this because I struggle. Look, I people mistake me as being gay all the time, just because I predominantly
Right.
being seen in men's spaces, but I struggle like in men, and it's not from an attraction standpoint. It's like as a species, like so. It's just
Right, right,
because
right, right,
I,
right, right.
I identify with women's capability to use internal and external strength, and
Yes,
men don't
yes,
aren't conditioned to be external. Internal, it's all external. You know what I'm saying? So
right,
I
yes,
find strength in the femininity that I have, and I'm proud of what I am. But
yes,
I am a masculine person, but that does not. It's not by choice. It's just what it is.
right,
Um,
right,
but femininity is
right.
so important, and like it's so important. It's so important. But so I want to get into. So you were at IML. You got to be a part of the first IML live. You got to host that. Um,
Yes,
what did you
yes,
think about
yes,
it? It
yes.
was cool seeing you guys kind of in the camera set up while the show was going on. You were Ralph and Jack. Jack is of course my IML brother. So what was it
Oh,
like?
good, good.
What was the reception of people
It
back?
was cool. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. I am probably the boy craziest dyke you'll ever meet, which is why I remember you're number one, which is why I was cheering you on so hard, right? And
Okay.
I love the boys, right? And like I love the boy and I love the boys, right? I am known to be a boy collector. Pretty boys come my way, right? But as a dyke, I'm just gonna just admire you on the eye, right? Just look at your eye. You just that's it, right? Um, and so I'm always there. I'll tell you a little thing about that. When I was there when Ralph won, right? I got there and I told somebody, I said, I know you think the prize this year is the sash for 2017. I said, the prize this year is me, right? You're lucky enough to get to spend your title year with me. So Ralph was the winner of that, right? Ralph gets me for life. And so I'm always seen at these spaces because I started out in male spaces, right? And I'm just like, I'm just a dyke moving in male because y'all have all the spaces, right? What, right? And I'm a dyke. We don't have many spaces. I'm just here to hang out, have a good time, just look at the dudes too. And so Ralph and I have a really good relationship, and it's not just based what you see online, right? I actually genuinely enjoy Ralph's company, and Jack is a star because my class I had Spencer. Shout out to Spencer. That was my class. That was my contestant your year. And so they invited me to do it because Ralph and I have a really we have a good relationship, and that was it. And I was like, sure, let's do it. Me and Ralph were together on stage. But we also have two more people in our international family. Don't forget, we have Polish, IMBB 2017, and Lisa, my IMBB 2017. Yes, we are a full leather family with Blue Blacks included.
So, in terms of like producing, you produce contests.
Yes, I do. I do.
You know that our community struggles with visibility, being presented on panels and things like that, right? And judging panels.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that's come a lot in my um since I've been in this community. I've questioned this a lot in terms
Mm-hmm.
of leather contests carrying so much weight more so than what's actually happening in our present. And I see people get bent out of shape over if a trans person or a black woman is not on a panel, which then the actual injustice and people putting their hands on trans people and all like that, and the anger that we should have, I feel like it's not pointing in the right direction. We have a lot of internal work to do, so we're not enemies of each other. You know what I'm saying? And we've learned some things and picked up some behaviors that we have to start talking about. And
Yes.
as a producer, I first want to say is that I empathize, I sympathize, I understand the work that goes into it because it takes so much work to do these things and get representation, all of that. But have you ever been in a position where you put your completely soul into organizing a contest and putting judges together, and then you got, let's say, you got backlash because you didn't represent somebody?
Yes, because the people in my community, I just moved to San Diego about 2 years ago, right? While I'm born and raised here, I don't consider San Diego the place that gave me my, well, it did, right? Because that's where I saw the Summer Finland poster, right? But I didn't get my start in leather here in San Diego. I go to Norfolk, Virginia, of all places, right? Um, so I get some places may not have the people. I feel weird about sometimes calling a big name judge to come judge your local contest, right? Because they don't know your local community, right? So you have, people coming in and making them the top billing, but the people in your local community should be the top biller, right? If you have a famous international coming to judge your contest, don't make them the top biller. Yes, they have fans, but like they don't know the community like that if that's not their home community, right? And sometimes communities are really small. San Diego, literally, people in San Diego, I'm related to all 5 of them, right? It's hard. I try and be as visible as fuck, but I don't know where the Black women are in San Diego, right? I don't know where the people of color are. I try. It's hard. And I march in the parade every year. I'm usually the only Black dyke. I'm real clear what I'm saying. I am the only Black woman, but I'm a Black dyke marches every pride. And I do hard fuck in leather in San Diego. Not the only one. I don't know where they are, right? So therefore, our community is super, super small. So sometimes you can't get out of the community to pieces, right? And then you get into running into the same people over. Some people here have history here that have. It's not good history, right? According to whoever's in church. But they're still involved. Kind of hard to get everybody to be
Hey,
like, oh, we need this and this and this,
complex,
because then you feel like a checklist.
complex. Let me stop you for 1 second. Your computer camera's moving a lot, so I don't know if you're moving, but
Oh,
something's causing
oh
it.
no, no. Oh,
I'm just letting you know it's kind
okay.
of getting stuck a little bit, but you're fine. Keep going.
Okay. No, you're good. And it's just hard to get everybody to represent all the specific, right? Because there's only so many Black dykes that we have found in the community in leather, right? I can think of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in San Diego that I can think of. And out of the 5 Black dykes or Black leather people in the leather community I know, 4 of them had judged my contest. I can't judge it because I'm the producer, right? And another person that we offered the title to didn't feel comfortable doing it because it's not her local community, right? So it's not like producers don't try. Sometimes people say, hey, I don't feel comfortable judging this because I'm not part of that community. So it's really hard to find people if your community is super small, right?
He has a different perspective of it too, because so I've noticed I've been seeing where okay, whoever wins IML or IMsL is going to be head judge on every panel they do, right? That's how it appears to be.
Mhm.
I was told that that title holders shouldn't judge their own contest. I got to judge the Mr. Austin Eagle contest, the next one, pick my
Yes.
sass, which I think that's a cool thing to do to be involved in that. But there was backlash in that, like, you shouldn't let a title holder or the current title holder judge the contest. So I know it's all you look. I know
I'll
what
tell you why. I hear that. I'll tell you why. The title, yeah. I tell you, I feel I have, but here's the thing. I don't like the outgoing title holder, the judge, because you should have a year to rest, right? That's what IMsL used to do in my year, right? But sometimes you don't have enough people to do that, right? We would compete, we win. That's our title year. We go back the next year to rest and hang out. The year after that, we go back to judge, right? But sometimes your community isn't big enough to do that. But what's wrong with picking somebody? Because you also know what it's like to feel the line, right? And you're not looking for a replacement you. Because I remember someone I wanted to judge, or sorry, I wanted to go back to the IMsL contest when I got to judge my judging year. And I said, oh, I want to go see the contestants. Or I think it was my year that I stepped down. And someone said, oh, you're not, because you're not going to be looking for you. I'm a black woman. None of the contestants were me. There were no black women. I'm not looking for myself in these contestants, right? I'm looking for someone who just wants to have fun or wants to do the thing, right? And it's a good time because you know what it's like to do the role. You've been there. So why not go back and judge? You know what it's like. You know what the current environment is like as well. But I still think, outgoing should get at least a year break. But if you can't, if your community doesn't have that, then so be it, right? But you still know the climate more than anybody else does.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. When I competed, I did not have that much time preparation, so they're actually having my Sason hold on to the title longer, so they can now give the third Mr. Austin Eagle is going to have like a year prep. So I
Yeah.
wish I've had that prep, but at the same time, if your heart and soul is going, it's if you're entering these contests because you want to see the community, because you want the community to see your best and what you have to offer your community. It ultimately does not matter if you win these things. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're great. And please, if you win, use it great. But everybody has different motivations for why they have a title. But I am telling you that, like, if you find something that you're good at, just do that. You know what I'm saying? Just do it and do it well. Some people argue because,
Yep.
I was like, should I run for another title? And I was like, Lewis, you don't need a title. You don't need a title. And after growing and having conversations and sitting at the table with people like you, I realized how much growth I had. And I understand what being a title holder is, but that journey was that journey. And I have these new doors open that I can
Yep.
focus on right now. So
Yes. Yes.
you what that is, and I want people. IML is a platform where you have all these eyes on you, and it's just like keep
Yes.
the eyes on you. That's all you got to do to be successful. Keep the eyes on you.
Yes, you
Uh,
do. Yes, you do.
I want to say that it means the world when I have the respect of lesbians, fan butch, leather dykes. My Sash sister Mo down here is a leather dyke. Um, I really want to be a solution in our community and rather have a conversation and saying the obvious about lack of representation. What can we do to get more women of color in the leather community, black women? How can we get more black women? This is interesting to me. What is the message? Why is that representation not there? Is it because of the environment there? Or I don't actually see a lot of that in general, correct?
Yeah. I don't know where they are. And I will tell you, for example, I went back recently to judge the Mr. Virginia Leather contest that's hosted by my club, the Nighthawks of Virginia, right? I grew up in San Diego, so I was inundated by white people, whether I liked it or not, right? I'm surrounded by them, right? Um, and so when I went to Virginia, which was predominantly white, I was in those environments. It was something that I was used to, right? And it didn't feel off to me. Maybe I would have felt off if I grew up somewhere different, but I didn't feel off because it was something that I was used to, right? But when I was back this year, so I joined the club and I hung out, had a great time. The best guys I've ever met in my entire life were the Nighthawks of Virginia. I will love them to the day I die, right? They've loved me and held me so hard always and protected and looked out for me all the time. Shout out to the Nighthawks of Virginia. Always, always, always. Good group. So I went back to judge the contest this year, Mr. Virginia Leather contest this year. Um, it was I was at the bar hanging out. Our home bar now is MJ's Tavern. Shout out to MJ's, good bar, love it. It's expanded since I was there. But I was there and I looked around that bar and I was like, as a black woman, this place doesn't feel welcoming, right? It's not unwelcoming. It's not unwelcoming. There's a lot of white people in that space, right? And if that's not something you're into, there's no way you can make it better, right? And that's not anything they're doing, but that's just the space it is, right? And so that's why it's harder because I said when I march in San Diego's Leather Pride, I am the only black dyke who marches in the leather contingent. When I got down into our pride area, there's a little section called Leather Realm. Most prides have a little sectioned off where the leather people hang out. And she was like, "How come you're never down here with us?" I'm like, if I'm not down here with you, who's in the praise? Because like a handful that we find for a celebration, right? There's only so many, and that's what it is. There's just only so many, and the space is it's does I wouldn't if I wasn't from San Diego, I wouldn't want to join any club that was that look like that makeup, but primarily white males. So it's just,
I get it. I get
I
it.
don't. There's nothing
But
you can do. Yeah, it's just nothing you can do, right?
what is the energy? How do we create an atmosphere that welcomes people to want to come and express themselves and feel comfortable? Um, my thing is that how do we start an era of solving problems? I had Renee on here last week, and I talked about segregation, bar segregation, preventing other people from that literally to me is like the sole thread that needs to be worked on to get us unified because our bars aren't unified. So that's a problem. We talk about defamation. So it's interesting to me. How do we Renee mentioned, you know what? Like ambassadors from each bar or venue should go help host a night at another venue. I'm like, see, that's a solution. We can't even get people to do that. To like, and that's how
Right.
because people. That's all you got. Instead of just coming up with a solution just like that, we're like, oh, well, it's not going to work, blah blah blah, and it takes like 5 seconds to come up with an idea. So
Right.
we are in. I keep thinking this nightmare will end at some point that we're in right now. Complex. This nightmare that we are living right now. We don't feel the effects of it. That's why everyone doesn't think this is as big a deal as it really is. It's a big deal. Every fabric.
I know. It's like I'm like it's not ending. That's my face. It's not ending.
Well, the thing is that we have to adapt and we have to be smart and we have to be ahead of the enemy. And it's going to take, and again, everyone watching so now is getting sick of me saying this. We have to reinvent the wheel. People tell you don't have to reinvent. Yeah, we do because our communication is messed up within our community, and these apps are a lot of cause of that. Could you imagine a
Right.
world where you're in danger? Okay, you've run out of gas, you're on the side of the road, and you pick up Grinder and you say, "Help, help, I need gas." And someone actually comes and helps you. Could you imagine? It's not like, oh, are you a top or a bottom? Sorry, close app. That's how they treat people on there. And
Yeah.
everybody knows I'm right. I'm telling the truth right now. You can need something that really, but they'll let you come over your house and stick you know. But if you're in need, the same person that went and stuck your and you can't buy gas from me. You can't help me in this situation. You can't see
Right.
me as a human being. Do you get what I'm saying?
Right. Well, sometimes for commodities, you should be looking for help on that commodified app, right? If I'm on this is a cruising app, I might be not for help, but I just can't put an APB out on the app that fast on a cruising app per se. It may be hard, but it's like folks aren't going to, and who's going to believe it? Like, oh, okay, scene. Okay, scene, you need gas? Bitch, I'm going to run this dick, scene, right? Oh, you need some gas? Like, where you
I
at,
guess
right?
I
Do
live
you
in
really need
this
gas?
world,
Oh no, I feel so settled,
talking in
right?
the world.
Right. Right. Maybe you get I need help. Right? I need a need help app, and that would be the one you're like, I'm stuck. I need gas. You get some help there, right? But it's hard. Right? But
But what I'm trying to,
right? But we do need to find.
what I'm saying is that just like to not think of each other as like objects all the time that don't
Yes.
have other things going on and
Yes.
are human. And I
Right.
think we
Right.
have an easier, and this is social media in general. It's just we treat people
Right.
a certain way that we wouldn't do in front of their faces or in front of them, and it,
Yes.
I think that our community could do
It's what
better in not using social media to attack each other, and especially contests.
they could.
I feel like don't you feel like what do you prefer? Someone pull you aside and be like, "Hey, you did a great job, Complex, on this display. Hey, I was really expecting you to have this. Could you maybe think about that in the future?" And you're like, "Oh, cool. Well, thank you for pulling me aside and telling me about how I can improve this event. And I'm going to take that. Thank you." But rather, that's not what we get. It's like, oh, you don't have this on social media, blah, 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 blast everybody, right? How these are the types of things when I talk about reinvent the wheel because it's not necessary. And I don't like the people that want to prey on us and to hurt us to think that we're fighting amongst each other and that we're weak and that it only takes a contest to frazzle us. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, but it does because, you know, egos are fragile. But that actually did happen. I produced the San Diego Blue Black or co-produced the San Diego Blue Black and Leather contest in 2024. We had the venue and studied the way that he came to me, approached me. He did say it was here underneath that. Right? So what I heard was there's something messaging, right? Didn't make a blast on social media. But even though his approach, he sometimes he said was like loaded. I saw that, right? So we took that into consideration. And we did our event, but guess what? He gave us a good review. The next year, we took that into consideration. We changed the event, and the music and the sound was better, right? Took that into consideration. People do sometimes come to you and say, "Hey, guess what? This is my experience at your event." A private thing, right? Especially when the people feel like you feel like you can talk to as well. But also, I'm also black, so people also feel a little more aligned to me than they think they should at some time. But that's a whole other thing. But it was a conversation that came directly. So sometimes they do that, right? And they'll do that if they don't dislike you or they had a good time, right?
Yeah.
That was I can hear at your event, but this cool information and change of any picture.
Did I lose you? Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yep, I'm here. I'm here. Yep,
Cool.
yep.
Appreciate that. All right.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So complex, we are getting towards the end. So I have a question for you that I ask everybody that comes on the show towards the end of the show. Okay, is there any aspect of our community that you feel that we are not shedding enough light on?
Yeah, the Unruly Social Club, of course. Name drop. The Unruly Social Club. Unruly underscore social underscore club on Instagram. We are the premier leather BDSM organization for all non-male identified folks of color. And I say that because there's really not any organization like that. I have yet to run across an organization like that. And also shine light on the dykes of color. If you know any events that dykes of color are supporting or any dykes in your area are promoting, share it, right? It doesn't take anything to share an event. It may not be for you, but who cares if it's not for you? Someone that you know may want to say, oh shit, I have some dykes who might want to go to this event, but they don't know any events to go to that you are aware of, right? Promote the girl events. And I tell people this, in the bars, you may not want to see the dykes in the bars, but guess what? When the shit comes and the fight comes, that dyke is going to be the one fighting the shit with you, right? She's going to be fighting the fight with you.
And
That's
hard,
it.
fighting hard.
Yep. Look for your people, right? And she's got your back. So support their events, right? Just support their dyke events.
After this is over of the show, I want to ask you something because you just sparked an idea for me. But
Yeah.
complex, thank you so much for being on the show. I would love to have you back, which I'm going to talk to you about. Thank you for being a voice that thank you for using your presence and your power to uplift people and to see people and to recognize people. Thank you for that. And thank you for those same things that you have done for me. People don't understand it's a small thing sometimes that helps people get through. And acts of kindness are so necessary right now. And empathy, compassion, and support are needed more than ever. So thank you for having that energy. And I hope that I hope that you continue to be an inspiration for people and that they will be inspired by how you're doing. I got one thing left for you to do. This is my favorite part. You ready?
Yep.
I'm going to close the show. When I count to three, when I count to three, you're going to say, if you're not throwing light, you're not acting right.
Okay.
You ready? One,
Yes, I am.
2, 3.
If you're not throwing light, you ain't acting right.
That's what I'm talking about. You tell them, San Diego.
And I'm really shout out Diego. Shout out to the
Thank you so much for being on the show. And yeah, so that is going to be our show for tonight. And I have a feeling that we will see some more of Girl Complex. That's going to be it, y'all. Thank y'all.